know what? I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna leave it like it is. Yeah, it's already started.
12. Do we make the screen bigger, sir? Where does it say present? Maybe down at the bottom. No, where's it? I guess.
Let me know if you see it.
It's still blank.
Still blank.
Oh no, I think we're on.
You see yourself?
It's still blank. Oh, we're on. We're on.
Okay.
We're on. I mean, as long as we're on, sir.
Oh, I got it. Here we go.
You got it.
Yeah, here we go. You want to see it over here, right?
I mean, as long as we too wild, but we can.
There we go.
That's cool. Come on, concert. Slack you, sir. Do you want to be? Oh no, come on. Slack y'all. Y'all just Akim, y'all ready? You know to blow the horn, sir. Huh? You know to blow the horn.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Let me know when to do
it. All right. This is just for the people up here. Ay, Mario. Gana Ya Allah, present thyself in thy registry.
Gana Ya Allah, Ban Yahawada, Ban Yashala.
Gana Ya Allah, Ban Yahawada, Ban Yashala. Yahweh Bashim Yahshua Barakatah. Get the horn again, sir. So you're putting your right hand. All right. La Yasha'Allah.
La Shala.
One again, sir. This is for everybody. Amadium Wapanya Hakwadam. These rise and face the east. These rise and face the east. We're going to turn to the right. Turn this way. On the count of 3, ready? 1, 2, 3. We're going to read the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Let's turn back around. Let's turn back around a second. Let's get you to tour. Let's turn again. 1, 2, 3. We're going to read the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew, then in the English. The Lord's Prayer. Abinau. Shabbat Shemayim.
Shabbat Shemayim.
Wadah.
Hayah.
Shamka.
Yahweh.
Lakwaka. Taba'ah. Watazayika. Hayah. Aisha. Aratisa. Kawa. Hayah. Washemayim. The thunder now. The come. Call. Yawam. Waslak now. Kawak now. Kaslak now. Kawak now. Wala'ah. Tabi'ayna. When it's saying one. Abal. Abashayna. Ayan. Ra. Hayah. Lakah. Hamalakwa. Aman. And in the English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth. As it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. And forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. This is Hakak, the power, in the Hebrew. Yahweh. Bahashim Yahushua. Barakashah. The thunder now. Hakak. Larpa'ah. Kamaka Allah. Call Malawa. Hakak. Latahar. Hamatazarayim. Hakak. Lahakia. Hakak. Arakalawa. Fatima Allah. Lagarashan. Bahashim Yahushua. The Wada Aman. And in the English, Lord, in the name of Yahweh. Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua. Please give us the power.
Please give us the
The
power.
power to heal all manner of sickness.
Power to heal all manner of sickness.
And all manner of disease.
And all manner of disease.
The power to cleanse the lepers.
Power to cleanse the
The
leper.
power to raise the dead.
Power to raise the dead.
The power against unclean spirits.
Power against unclean
Cast
spirits.
them out.
Cast them out.
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So be it.
So be it. This is the blessed Israel. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Bahashim Yahweh Shai.
Bahashim Yahweh Shai.
Barak Manau.
Barak Manau.
Wayasha'ala.
Washa'ala.
Wahabayah.
Wahabayah.
Sapari.
Sapari.
Barak.
Barak.
Rapah.
Rapah.
Magan.
Magan.
Hagan.
Hagan.
Bahashim Yahweh Shai.
Bahashim Yahweh Shai.
The water Aman.
The water of mine. And in the English. Lord, in the name of Yahweh Shai.
Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai.
Bless us.
Bless us.
And Israel.
And Israel.
And the school.
And the school.
Bless.
Bless.
Heal.
Heal.
Shield.
Shield.
Protect.
Protect.
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So be it.
So be it. These are the blessings. Barakatha Yahweh.
Barakatha Yahweh.
Wa Yahweh Shai.
Wa Yahweh Shai.
Wa Mayaka Allah.
Wa Mayaka Allah.
Wa Allah Hayat.
Wa Allah Hayat.
Matazab Ya'ah. Allah Yahan.
Alawat Yahana.
Ha Alawakim.
Alawat
Hasaranyam.
Hasaranyam.
Hakwatazayanyam.
Hasaranyam.
Hakayayoyam.
Yoyam.
Waha Akwakim.
Wahawahim.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Bahashim Yahweh Shai.
Bahashim Yahweh Shai.
The water Aman.
The water of mine. In the English. Bless you, Yahweh.
Bless you, Yahweh.
And Yahweh Shai.
And Yahweh Shai.
And Michael.
And Michael.
And the angel.
And the angel.
Commanding General Yohana.
Commanding General Yohana.
The general.
The general.
The captain.
Captain.
The officer. The troopers. The sisters.
Sisters.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
Thank you, so be it.
Thank you, so be it. Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Aisha'ah.
Aisha'ah.
Ayanya.
Ayanya.
Ahahari.
Ahahari.
Ma'ayan.
Ma'ayan.
Yaba'ah.
Yaba'ah.
Izari.
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 Ma'ayin.
Ma'ayin.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Shamayam.
Shamayam.
Wa'aratizah.
Wa'aratizah.
Al-Yathan.
Al-Yathan.
Lamawat.
Lamawat.
Ragal.
Golka.
Al-Yanawam.
Al-Yanawam.
Shamar.
Shamar.
Hana.
Hana.
La'ah.
La'ah.
Yanawam.
Yanawam.
Wala'ah.
Wala'ah.
Yishun.
Yashun.
Shawamar.
Shawamar.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Tazalka.
Yolka.
Ayah.
Ayah.
Yamika.
Yamyaka.
Yawamam.
Yawamam.
Hashamash.
Hashemah.
La'ah.
La'ah.
Yakaka.
Yakaka.
Wayarak.
Wayarak.
Walayala.
Walayala.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Yashamar.
Yashamar.
Makol.
Makol.
Yashamar.
Yashamar.
Atnapashka.
Atnapashka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Yashamar.
Yashamar.
Afka.
Afka.
Wabwaka.
Wabukawak.
Mayatha.
Mayatha.
Wa'ai.
Wa'ai.
Awalam.
Awalam.
Aman.
Aman. And in the English, I will lift up my eyes into the hills.
I will lift up my eyes to the hills.
From whence cometh my help?
From whence cometh my help?
My help cometh from Yahweh.
My help cometh from Yahweh,
which made heaven and earth.
Which made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
Do not suffer thy foot to be
He
moved.
that keepeth
He
thee
that keepeth thee
will not slumber.
will not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth Israel
he that keepeth Israel
shall not slumber nor sleep.
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
The power is thy keeper.
the power is thy keeper.
The power is thy shade upon thy right hand.
The power is thy shade upon thy right
The
hand.
sun shall not smite thee by day,
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
nor the moon by night.
nor the moon by
The
night.
power shall preserve thee
The power shall preserve thee
from all evil.
from all evil.
He shall preserve thy soul
He shall preserve thy soul.
from thy power shall reserve. The power shall reserve thee. Preserve thy going out
The power shall preserve thy going out
and coming in,
And
coming in.
from this time forth,
from this time forth.
evermore.
Forevermore.
So be it.
So be it. Psalms 83. Alahayim.
Alahayim.
Aldamayalaka. Al-Fakarash.
Al-Fakarash.
Wa al-Bashakwat.
Wa
Kayahana.
Kayahana.
Awayadyaka. Yahweh Yawan. Umashanayaka. Nashawa. Ra'ash. Al-Imaka. Ya'iriyamwa. Sawad. Wiyataya Aitazawa. Altazapa Amara. Lakawa. Wanakakim. Magoya. Walla'ah. Yasakar. Sham Yasha'ala. Iwad. Kayah. Nawa'aitazawa. La. Yachadwa. Yaka. Waryak. Yafaratwa. Aholia. Adawam. Shamai Alayam. Mo'abba. Hagarian, Gabal, Amawan, Amalat, Halashah, and Yeshubya, Tons of War, Gum Ashawar, Melawah, Aiman, Hayawah, Zerawai, Labanya, Salah, Ashalaham, Kamadyu, Kasi Yasara'ah, Kayatin, Banakol, Koyashwan, Nishamadwa, Ayanda Ara, Hayawa, Daman, Adama, Shayatamwa, Nidayabawa, Ka'ara, because of Abba, because of Bat, because of Zolmina, Call, the Sayakamwa, Ashar, Amarwa, Nerashad, Lenawa, Na'awa, Alahayim, Shayatamwa, Kagogla, Kakwash, Lapanya Rakah, Ka'ash, Ira, Kalahat, Hariam, Khan, the Radatma, Irika, what was so Paska, Laham, Mala'ah, Panyaham, Kalawan, Wayabakwashwa, Shemka, Yahweh, Yabashwa, Wayabahowa, Ayai, Wayakaparwa, Abadwa, Kaya, Atha, Shemka, Yahweh, Labadka, Ayawan, Alcall, Aratiza, Aman.
And in the English, keep not thy silence, O Yahweh.
Keep not thy silence, O Yahweh.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
And be still, and be not still, O Yahweh.
Be not still, O Yahweh.
For lo, thine enemies make a tumult. And they have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. And they have said, Come, and let us cut them off from being a nation. That the name of Yahweh, the name will be more remembered. But they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites, of Moab, the Hagarene, Gabal, and Ammon, and Amalek, and the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Ashur is also joined with them. They have hoped at the children of Lot. Do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kasan, which perish at Endor. They become as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like a rag, and like Zeb, yea, all their princes, as Zabah, and as Zamunah, who said, Let us take ourselves the houses of Yahweh. In possession. Oh my power. Make them like a wheel. As a stubble before the wind. As the fire burneth the wood. And as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest. And make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame. That they may seek thy name, O Yahweh. Let them be confounded. Trouble forever. Yea. Let them be put to shame. And perish. That men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the most high over all the earth.
So be it. These are the curses. Blessed you, Yahweh. King of heaven and earth. And all things living. Yahweh. In the name of Yahweh. Listen to us now. Right now. Send evils and curses. And punishment and destruction. To the heathen. That speak against us. Like prophet. The teacher. The prince. The priest. The Israelite brothers. And the school. Send evils and curses. And punishment and destruction. To the heathen. and shake loose the treasure
and shake loose the treasure.
of the rich of Israel
Of the rich of Israel.
that refuse to give to the school.
And refuse to give to the school.
Force their riches,
And
enter to thy sanctuary.
sanctuary.
Send evils and curses,
And evils and curse.
and punishment and destruction,
And punishment and
to
destruction.
the Edomites,
To the Edomites.
and the nation,
And the nation.
and their drug dealers,
And the drug
the
dealers.
court system,
The court system.
the prison system,
The prison system.
Planned Parenthood,
Planned Parenthood.
all the governments of our enemies,
All governments of our enemies.
analytic synagogues and armies,
And the synagogues and armies.
Roman Catholic Church,
Roman Catholic Church.
the Pope,
The Pope.
Islam,
Christianity.
Egyptology,
Egyptology.
militia, Ku Klux Klan,
Ku Klux Klan.
Aryan Nation,
Skinheads.
Posse Comitatus,
Posse Comitatus.
Gay movement,
The gay movement.
the gay movement,
The gay movement.
the lesbian movement,
Lesbian movement.
lesbian movement, spies, workers of witchcraft,
Workers of witchcraft.
NASA space program,
That's the space program.
Armed, Navy,
Air Force,
Marine,
Wall Street.
open up the internet,
Open up the internet.
and the airways,
And the airways.
the cable access channel,
Cable access channel.
and the radio channel,
And the radio channel.
convict the spirit,
Convict the spirit
of any of thy people,
of any of thy people.
that seek to stop
And
us,
seek to stop us.
and bring swift destruction,
And bring swift destruction
to all the heathen,
to all the heathen
that stand in the way,
that stand in the way.
or try to stop
Or
us,
try to stop us
from broadcasting your word
from broadcasting your word
throughout the planet Earth.
throughout the planet Earth.
Let loose all the plagues.
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 Cause them to go to and fro.
Cause them to go to and fro
Through the earth.
through the earth
And consume them.
and consume them.
Let the plague.
Let the plague
Shake the house of the thieves.
shake the houses of thieves
And the murder.
and the murder.
Let Yahweh shot.
Let your house shine.
Michael and Gabriel.
Michael and Gabriel
Come down with the flying sword.
come down with flying saucers
And punish all the heathen.
and punish all the heathen
That come up against us.
that come up against us
As we speak thy word.
as we speak thy word.
Cause it to be known.
Cause it to be known
By all.
that all
That is the angel.
that is the angel
That have done.
that have done it.
Cause it to be spread through the media.
Cause it to spread through the media
Throughout the whole world.
throughout the whole world.
Cause it to shake thy coming.
Cause it to shake it thy coming.
In the name of Yahweh Shah.
In the name of Yahweh Shah.
Thank you always.
Thank you always.
So be it.
So be it.
Saw, which means to turn. The audience, Imadium. I mean, Yashas. Slaki Yashah, which means to return. Imadium means to stand. Right. Yeshabium, which means to return. Right, folks, we have been in the book of 1 Samuel, and we're going to continue that this week. We're going to be starting in 1 Samuel 18, 8 through 14. So let's go to 1 Samuel 18, 8 through 14. We're going to be reading first in the Hebrew, then in the English. All right. 1 Samuel 18. Right, and we're going to be reading 8 through 14. Get this here in the Hebrew. All right, 1 Samuel chapter 18, 8 through 14 in the Hebrew. Wayachar, Lasha'awal, Ma'ad, Wayarai, Ba'ayanyawa, Hadabar, Hazah, Waya Amar, Nathanwa, Ladawada, it's like Rabba Bawath, Walaya, Nathnawa, it's like Latyum, Wad, Lawa, Ak, Hamala Waka, it's like Hamalach, Hamalawah, it's like it's king, it's like verse 9. Oyahaya, Sha'awal, Iwan, Af, Dawada, Maha Yawam, Hahawa'a, Waha La'a. Verse 10. Oyahaya, Wamacharath, Wafatazalak, Rakah, Alahayim, Raiha, Sha'awal, Wayafa, Raba'ah, Bafawak, Habayaf, Wadawada, Managan, Bayadwa, Kayawam, Bayawam, Waha Kanyaf, Bayat, Sha'awal, verse 11. Wayatah, Sha'awal, Hakanya, Waya Amar, Akha, Badawada, Waba Kwakyar, Waba Koyar, Slakim, Wayatab, Dawada, Mapanyawa, Ainyam, verse 12. Wayara'ah, Sha'awal, Malapanya, Dawada, Kaya, Aya, Yahawa, Ainwa, Wama Ain, Sha'awal, Sar, verse 13. Waya Sar Hawa, Sha'awal, Ma'ainwa, Waya Sham Hawa, Lawa, Shar, Allah, Waya Taza'ah, Waya Ba'ah, Lapanya, Ha'ain, verse 14. Waya Haya, Dawada, Lakal, Darakwa, Masha Kayal, Wayahawa, Ainwa, and that's it. We're now reading 1 Samuel 18, 8 through 14 in the English.
1 Samuel chapter 18, verse 8. And Saul was very wroth, and the saying displeased him. And he said, They have ascribed unto David 10,000s, and to me they have ascribed but thousands. And what can he have more but the kingdom? Verse 9. And Saul eyed David from that day and forward. Verse 10. And it came to pass on the morrow that the evil spirit from God came upon Saul, and he prophesied in the midst of the house. And David played with his hand as at other times, and there was a javelin in Saul's hand.
Stop right there. So we see that, Saul was started having a jealousy of David, and we see this because when David would go out and fight, and the women would be screaming, Saul has slaved his thousands and David his tens of thousands. Well, that was an insult because Saul was king. And David, started rising up, and we start to see the decline of Saul's popularity even amongst the people. So David had favor with the Most High and with the people, as we can see here. When an evil spirit would come on Saul, David would go and play his guitar, the kanar, and so that the evil spirit would go away. Well, this time, it took it a step further. And he, we'll see that there's a javelin in his hand. He's trying to take David out here. Go ahead. Verse 11.
Sir. Verse 11. And Saul cast the javelin, for he said, I will smite David, even to the wall with it. And David avoided out of his presence twice. Verse 12. And Saul was afraid of David because the Lord was with him and was departed from Saul. Verse 13. Therefore Saul removed him from him and made him his captain over 1,000. And he went out and came in before the people. Verse 14. And David behaved himself wisely in all his ways, and the Lord was with him.
Right, excellent. And if you notice right here too, David started to become a part of the royal family now. He was, he's part of Saul's, family. Saul was king, and now David's a part of that royal family. And the Most High is with David. You can see that here. And we got to put. I don't think we got to put it in context too. How close David was with Saul. I mean, that's. I mean, because I think sometimes we don't see we don't see the close relationship to how they were at once. That was like his father. That's like, maybe one of us turning on, each other, and you're like, man, what happened? But there was a close relationship at one time, but we Saul, did not take heed, and he started to, become jealous of David. All right. All right. So now we're going to read. We're going to continue here in 1 Samuel, chapter 18, 15 to 21 in the Hebrew. 1 Samuel chapter 15. Where you're Sha'awal, Ashar, Hawa'ah, Mashakayal, Mashakayal, Ma'ad, where you guard, Mapunya you are. Verse 16. Wakal, Yasha'Allah, where Yahawada, Aha, excuse me. Dawada, Kaya, Hawa, where Taza, Waba, Wapanyaham. Verse 17. By your Amar, Sha'awal, Al, Dawada, Hana, Bafya, Haga, Dawla, Marab, Atha, Athan, Laka, La'asha, Ak, Haya, Laya, Laban, Khayal, Wahal Lakam, Mala Kama Waf, Yahawa, Washa'awal, Amar, Al, Faya, Yadya, Bawa, Watha, Wathaya, Bawa, Yad, Halashafyam. Verse 18. Wayamar, Dawada, Al, Sha'awal, Maya, Anakia, Wamya, Khayaya, Masha Pakaf, Abaya, Bayasha'ala, Kaya, Haya, Fun, Lamalak. Verse 19. Barab, Bath, Shawal, La Dawada, Wahaya, Nathan, Hamakhalafia, La Asha. Verse 20. With Ahab, Mayakal, Bath, Sha'awal, Dawada, Wayagadwa, La Sha'awal, Wayashar, Hadabar, Ba'ayanyawa. Verse 21. Wayamar, Sha'awal, Athana, Lawa, with a ya, Lawa, Lama wa Fash, with a ya, Lawa, Yad, Palashafyam, Wayamar, Sha'awal, Al, Dawada, Shafyam, for a Kathun, but yeah, how you want, and that's it. We're now going to be reading 1 Samuel 18, 15 through 21 in the English.
1 Samuel chapter 18, verse 15. Wherefore, when Saul saw that he behaved himself very wisely, he was afraid of him. Verse 16. But all Israel and Judah loved David, because he went out and came in before them. Verse 17. And Saul said to David, Behold, my elder daughter, Merab, her I will give thee to wife. Only be thou valiant for me, and fight the Lord's battles. For Saul said, Let not mine hand be upon him, but let the hand of the Philistines be upon him. Verse 18. And David said unto Saul, Who am I, and what is my life, or my father's family is in Israel, that I should be the son-in-law to the king? Verse 19. But it came to pass at the time when Merab, Saul's daughter, should have been given to David, that she was given unto Adriel, the Meholathite, to wife. Verse 20. And Michal, Saul's daughter, loved David, And they told Saul, and the thing pleased him. Verse 21, and Saul said, I will give him her, that she may be a snare to him, and that the hand of the Philistines may be against him. Wherefore Saul said to David, thou shalt this day be my son-in-law, the one of the twine.
And so we see here that Saul pretty much, was trying to be crafty dealing with David. But, the Most High was with David. And he was, pretty much, he wanted David to be pretty much destroyed by, tricking him. He was actually trying to trick David here and say, okay, you could have my daughter. But then he's going to send David on these missions with the Philistines, thinking the Philistines was going to destroy him. But instead of that, David was just killing Philistines because the Most High was with him. All right. Let's go ahead and continue. We're going to read 1 Samuel chapter 18. We're going to read 22 through 28. We're going to read that in the Hebrew first. Let me just check something real quick. Okay. All right. We're going to read that in the Hebrew first, and then we're going to go into the English. Looks like it, sir. If you want to read some English too, you can, sir. Go. All right. 1 Samuel chapter 18, 22 to 28 in the Hebrew. Where it says, Awa, Sha'awal, Af, Ibadwa, Dabarwa, All, Dawada, Balat, La'amar, Hanav, Kapatazar, Bakab, Hamalak, Wakal, Ibadyawa, Ahab, Wakab, Wa'aitha, Hathan, Bamalak. Verse 23. Wayatabarwa, Badwa, Sha'awal, Ba'azanya, Dawada, Af, Hadabarium, Ha'Allah, Wayamar, Dawada, Hanakwala, Ba'ayanyakam, Hathan, Bamalak, Wa'anakya, Ayash, Rash, Wanakwala. Verse 24. Waya Gadwa, Ibadya, Sha'awal, Lawa, La'amar, Kadabarium, Ha'Allah, Dabar, Dawada. Verse 25. Waya Amar, Sha'awal, Kaha, Amarwa, La Dawada, Ayan, Kapataza, La Malak, Bamahar, Kaya, Bama Aha, Iralawaf, Pelashakium, Lahanakium, Lahanaquam, Yabya, Hamalak, Washa'awal, Khashab, Lahapayal, Af, Dawada, Bayad, Pelashakium, verse 26. Wayagadwa, Ibadyawa, La Dawada, Af, Hadabarium, Ha'Allah, Wayashar, Hadabar, Ba'ayanya, Dawada, Lahatha, Kathan, Bamalak, Wala'ah, Mala'awa, Hayamyam, verse 27, Wayaquam, Dawada, Wayalak, Hawa'ah, Awanashiwa, Wayak, Palashakyam, Ba'afyam, Ayash, Wayaba'a, Dawada, Af, Ira Lafyaham, Wayamalawam, Lamalak, Lahafakathan, Bamalak, Wayathan, Lawa, Sha'awal, Af, Mayakal, Bathwa, La'awa, La'asha, verse 28, Wayara'ah, Sha'awal, Wayadai, Kaya, Yahawa, Dawada, Wama Yakal, Ba, Sha'awal, Bathawa. And that's it. We're going to be now reading in 1 Samuel 18, 22 through 28 in the English.
1 Samuel chapter 18, verse 22. And Saul commanded his servants, saying, commune with David secretly, and say, behold, the king hath delight in thee, and all his servants love thee. Now therefore be the king's son-in-law. Verse 23. And Saul's servants spake those words in the ears of David. And David said, seemeth it to you a light thing to be a king's son, a king's son-in-law, seeing that I am a poor man and lightly esteemed. Verse 24. And the servants of Saul told him, saying, on this manner spake David. Verse 25. And Saul said, thus shall ye say to David, the king desireth not any dowry, but 100 foreskins of the Philistines, to be avenged of the king's enemies. But Saul thought to make David fall by the hand of the Philistines. Verse 26. And when his servants told David these words, it pleased David well to be the king's son-in-law, and the days were not expired. Verse 27. Wherefore David arose and went, he and his men, and slew of the Philistines 200 men. And David brought their foreskins, and they gave them in full tale to the king, that he might be the king's son-in-law. And Saul gave him Michal, his daughter, to wife. Verse 28. And Saul saw and knew that the Lord was with David, and that Michal, Saul's daughter, loved him.
So we can see here that, Saul's plot pretty much failed against David. I mean, the plot that he had against David failed because the Most High was with David. Saul wanted, David to be slain by the Philistines, but the Most High was with David, and it turned around into David's favor. And so David was taking out Philistines, which the Most High wanted to get rid of anyway. So it was working in David's favor. But you see how Saul has turned against David. And, and that can be I know that was very hurtful to David, because like I said, that was somebody that he looked to as a father. All right, let's continue. Anybody have any questions or anything? Any questions?
I was just going to say it's crazy and ironic that David just beat Goliath. You think some Philistines is going to
Con. That's actually a good point too. Con. Anybody else have any other questions? All right, let's go to 1 Samuel 18. We're reading 29 through 30, and then we're reading 1 Samuel 19, 1 through 5. We're going to read it in Hebrew, then in the English. 1 Samuel chapter 18, verse 29. Waya Sa Sha'awal Lara'ah Mapanya Dawada Iwad Wayahaya Sha'awal Ayab Af Dawada called Mayumyum Waya Taza'awa Sharia, verse 30. I'm sorry, it's like verse 30. Where it says Awa, Sharia, Palashafyam, Hayo, Wayahaya, Madya, Taza Thumb, Shakal, Dawada, Makal, Ibadya, Shawal, Wayayakwar, Shamwa, Ma'ad. This is the book of 1 Samuel chapter 19, verse 1. Where Debar shall wall all Yawanathan Bunwa wa all call Ibadua Laha Mayaf Af Dawada Waya Hawa Nathan Bun Sha'awal Kapataza, but Dawada, Ma'ad, verse 2. Where your God, Yahawanathan, La Dawada, La Amar, Maba Kwash, Sha'awal, Abiyah, Laha Mayafka, Wa'aifa, Hashamar, Na'a, Babakwar, Waya Shabath, Basafar, wana kaba af. Like it wana kaba af. Verse 3. Wa anya ataza af. Wa I madafya. It's like wa I madfya. It's like it. Layad abaya bashada ashar atha sham wa anya adabar baka al abaya wa yafya maha gadafya laka. Looks like a lock. Verse 4. Wa yadabar waha wanathan badawada tawab all sha'awal abayawab Baya Amar, all Yawa, all Yakasha'a, Hamalak, Ba'ai Badwa, Badawada, Kaya, Lawa'a, Kata'a, Lak, Wakaya, Ma'aisha Yawa, Tawab, Laka, Ma'ad, verse 5. Wayasham, Av, Napashwa, Bakatwa, Wayak, Av, Hapalashafya, Waya Aisha, Yahawa, Fasho wa Aiha, Gada Wala, Lakal, Yasha'ala, Ra'ayaf, Watha Shamak, Wala Ma, Fakata'a, Badam, Nakwaya, it's like Lahamayaf, the Wada, Hanam, and that's it. We're now going to be reading 1 Samuel 18, 29 through 30 in the English, and the 1 Samuel 19, 1 through 5 also in the English.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. 1 Samuel chapter 18, verse 29. And Saul was yet the more afraid of David, and Saul became David's enemy continually. Verse 30. Then the princes of the Philistines went forth, and it came to pass after they went forth that David behaved himself more wisely than all the servants of Saul, so that his name was much set by. Verse 17. And so spake to Jonathan that they should kill David. Verse 2. But Jonathan, Saul's son, delighted much in David. And Jonathan told David, saying, Saul my father seeketh to kill thee. Now therefore I pray thee, take heed to thyself until the morning, and abide in a secret place, and hide thyself. Verse 3. And I will go out and stand beside my father in the field where thou art, and I will commune with my father of thee, and what I see that I will tell thee. Verse 4. And Jonathan spake good of David unto Saul his father, and said unto him, Let not the king sin against his servant, against David, because he have not sinned against thee, and because his works have been to thee ward very good. Verse 5. For he did put his life in his hand, and slew the Philistines, and the Lord wrought a great salvation of all Israel. Thou sawest it, and didst rejoice. Wherefore then wilt thou sin against innocent blood, to slay David without cause?
And I want to point out here too. I mean, a lot of people don't give Jonathan his credit. I mean, because a lot of times, you'll see this, especially with us, with our people. Like, some in our family going to get somebody. We be like, all right, well, I'm with you. I'm gonna ride with you. Right. And you see here, like, Jonathan didn't have that attitude. Like, he saw the righteousness in David. He saw what type of spirit David had, and spoke up for David. Like, that's very brotherly. And he I mean, first of all, that was his father. Second of all, that's the king. I mean, so you got to look at the position Jonathan was in. I mean, because back in those days, if you disrespected the king, your head could be taken off. Whether you was a son or whatever, you had to choose your words wisely when speaking to a king or even your father.
Right.
And Jonathan right here took a stand because he saw the righteousness in David. And Jonathan had that attitude. Well, Daddy, I'm riding with you. I mean, David cool. Because that's the attitude most of the time. I mean, he cool, but You my father, so I'm gonna ride with you. And so we can see that this example that that the brotherhood that Jonathan had, that he was keeping that commandment to love his neighbor, to love his brother. He was very brotherly. So that shows he also had the spirit of the Most High. All right. Now we're gonna be reading we're in 1 Samuel. We're in chapter 19, 6 through 12 in the English. In the Hebrew. Then we'll read in the English. 1 Samuel chapter 19, verse 6 in the Hebrew. Shemai, Sha'awal, Bakwawal, Yahawanathan, Shabai, Sha'awal, Chaya, Yahweh, Yawamath, verse 7. Korah, Yahawanathan, La Dawada, Gad, Lawa, Yahawanathan, Call, Hadabarium, Ha'Allah, Ba'a, Yahawanathan, Dawada, Shawal, Lapanya, from a wall, Shalashwam, verse 8. Wasa, Malakama, Laha Yawaf, Wayataza, the Wada, Wayalakam, Bapalashafyam, Wayak, Baham, Makah, Gado Wala, Wayanaswa, Mapanyawa, verse 9. With a Haya, Raka, Yahweh, Raiha, all, Sha'awal, Wahawa, Baba Yahwa, Yawasha, Waka Nayafwa, Bayadwa, Wadawada, Managan, Bayad, verse 10. Bakwash, Shawal, Laha Kawaf, Bakanyaf, Badawadad, Wabakwayar, Patar, Mapanya, Shawal, Bayak, Hakan Nayaf, Bakwayar, Wadawada, Nas, Malat, Balayala, Hawa, verse 11. Shalak, Shawal, Malak, Yom, all, Bayak, Wada, Shamarwa, Wala Hamayafwa, Babakwar, Wafagad, La Dawada, Mayakal, Ashafwa, La Amar, Ayanka, Mamalat, Napashka, Halayala, Mahar, Tha, Mawamath, verse 12. Matharad, Mayakal, Dawada, Ba'aid, Hakalawan, Wayalak, Wayabakrak, Wayamalat. And that's it. Now we're reading it in the English. We're reading 1 Samuel 19, 6 through 12 in the English.
1 Samuel chapter 19, verse 6. And Saul hearkened unto the voice of Jonathan. And Saul sware, as the Lord liveth, he shall not be slain. Verse 7. And Jonathan called David, and Jonathan shewed him all those things. And Jonathan brought David to Saul, and he was in his presence, as in times past. Verse 8. And there was war again, and David went out and fought with the Philistines, and slew them with great slaughter, and they fled from him. Verse 9. Verse 9. And the evil spirit from the Lord was upon Saul, as he sat in his house with his javelin in his hand, and David played with his hand. Verse 10. And Saul sought to smite David, even to the wall with his javelin, but he slipped away out of Saul's presence. And he smote the javelin into the wall, and David fled and escaped that night. Verse 11. Saul also sent messengers unto David's house to watch him and to slay him in the morning. And Michal, David's wife, told him, saying, if thou save not thy life tonight, tomorrow thou shalt be slain. Verse 12. So Michal let David down through a window, and he went and fled and escaped.
So you see that it's full-fledged on now between Saul and David, which, Saul was in the wrong, of course. But, it shows that, if we don't watch what can happen to us, if we're not following what the Most High says.
Right.
Okay. Because remember, Saul was at one time very obedient. You know what I'm saying? But it said the spirit of the Most High departed from Saul because he backslid, he fell. Means he did not get back up. Jeremiah talks about that scripture where a righteous man falls 7 times but gets up. But right here you can see Saul did not get up.
Right.
When he fell. But,
so the spirit of the Most High can come off you and you can get it back.
If you get back, if you repent, and like you say, you get back up, you turn towards him, but and that could go for anybody, I mean, we saw that. I mean, Saul at one time was, the Lord was with Saul, the Most High was with Saul, but you see that when Saul started disobeying, well, what happened? Saul fell and he didn't get back up. He fell into reproach. And he started backsliding. Then he started becoming jealous, and he, started hating David. So it's a lesson for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's a lesson for all of us.
If I may,
Just
like,
sir.
When we're not operating in the spirit of the Most High, those are the spirits that we operate in. When you're not operating in the truth, you operating on the opposite side. We always operate in iniquity. That's why when we come into this truth, we change and we give up all those ways that we did. Saul those spirits always been on Saul, but he was covered by the Most High. Once you step away from the Most High, you begin to operate in those same spirits. Just like you said, we fall off and we don't get back up. That means we begin to operate back in those old spirits again.
Come. Did you have a question, sir?
I had 2 questions because I missed the first answer to his question. When you said Saul fell out of his spirit and he didn't get back up, meaning like he didn't try to solve that issue with David, taking it up with him that and continuing in that, meaning his spirit was gone, the Most High spirit was off of him.
See, so pretty much if you look at Saul's story, the spirit of the Most High came upon Saul, and Saul started obeying the Most High and started walking and doing what the Most High asked him to do. But then if you look at Saul's story, Saul started disobeying the Most High. Started when Samuel told him to give him an order and he didn't do it. He didn't follow that order. And then Saul never recovered really from that. Because if you're disobeying the Most High and you start, turning your life and going the other way, you're going to start compromising more and more. And the Saul stopped being very brotherly towards David. He started becoming jealous of David. He backslid and he never really recovered. He never recovered of that, because it's like once you start with one sin and you're not getting back up, you're going to kind of start compromising doing other things. You're going to start turning your back and start doing other things. Some people just feel like, I shouldn't get up. I'm already in this. I already went back on drugs, so there's no point. But that's a trap. You know what I'm saying? Because some people do think like this. Some, are like, man, I went back in the world. There's no reason for me to come back to the truth anyway, because I'm already horrible anyway. But that's the trap. That's the trap. And Saul fell into that trap, and he continued. Come.
Right. The other question.
It was just like Just like when we in brotherhood class, right? We talk about brotherhood, and you have an issue with your brother, you go to your brother, right? Saul refused to go to his brother and clear up that issue. And when you don't go clear up that issue, that spirit festers in you, and it gets worse and worse and worse until to the point where you do something where you don't want to come back. You understand what I'm saying? And that's Saul. Saul let that spirit, instead of going to David and really airing out the situation and clearing it up of what was in his mind, he let that spirit fester in him, and then all of a sudden he went on and on, let that spirit fester until he want to kill. You understand what I'm saying? And then you do something, then all of a sudden, this is like when we out in the street, you do that one thing where you know, I can't go back now. You understand? Like you rob somebody, you can go back because you can give that person back what you robbed from them. But as soon as you take that gun and you pull that trigger, we all feel like it ain't no going back now. So we go forward. We forget everything. I'm just going all out now. You understand what I'm saying? It's the same thing. You feel what I'm saying?
Sir.
Do you have another question?
That's it.
Okay,
That's
So,
it.
yeah, would David have been wrong if he'd oppressed Saul?
Because David understood, that Saul was still the Most High's anointed. You know what I'm saying? He understood the fact, you let the Lord take care of that. And that's actually a good example. Like, even if the Most High has put somebody in place and they start, and they're wrong, you know what I'm saying? You stay righteous.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You stay righteous, and because the Lord still might require of you. So that's the attitude. All right.
As a matter of fact, I'm glad you touched on that, because we're gonna see that a little bit further down in the story. Just what he just explained. That's a little bit further down in the story.
So you had another question?
Yeah. The javelin, right?
Come.
You know what kind of weapon that was?
Joe. I'm thinking like a spear type weapon. That's what I'm thinking. It's like a spear. He wanted to kill David.
Meaning he was just thinking about killing him with the javelin right then and there, or he really.
Well, a few times he wanted to kill David. So, when that spirit came upon him, he wanted to kill David. But the Most High was with David. You know what I'm saying? I think he tried to take David's life a few times.
Okay.
So when that spirit came upon him, he wanted to take David out. All right, we're now in 1 Samuel chapter 19, 13 through 19. We'll read in the Hebrew and then in the English. 1 Samuel chapter 19, verse 13. With a quack, may you call Tharakyum, with a shum, all, Hamatah, Kabaryar, Bahayzayam, Shema, Mara Shafyawa, with a kas, Baba Gaz, verse 14. Waya Shalak, Sha'awal, Malakyam, Lakwakaf, Dawada, Mafa Amar, Kala, Hawa, verse 15. Waya Shalak, Sha'awal, Hamalakyam, Lara Awaf, Dawada, Amar, Ha'ailawa, Aqua, Bamata, Alya, Laha Mafwa, verse 16. Wayaba Awa, Hamalakyam, Wahana, Hatharakyam, all, Hamata, Wakabayar, Ha'aizyam, Zayam, Mara Shafyawa, verse 17. Wayamar Sha'awal, all, Mayakal, Lama, Kaka, Ramayathanyawa, with a Shalakwa, with a Shalakya, Ayabya, Waya Malat, with a Amar, Mayakal, all, Sha'awal, Amar, Oya, Shalakanya, Lama, Amayaf, So I'm a Isupk. Verse 18. Wada Barak. Waya Malat. Waya Ba'a. Shamwa Allah. Hara Matha. Waya God. Lawa. Af. Call. Ashar. Aisha. Lawa. Sha'awah. Waya Lak. Hawa. Wa Shamwa Allah. Waya Shabwa. Bana Wayaf. Verse 19. Waya God. La Sha'awah. La Amar. Hana. Da Wada. Bana Wayaf. Barama. And that's it. We're now reading 1 Samuel chapter 19, 13 through 19 in the English.
It's on you. 1 Samuel chapter 19, verse 13. And Michal took an image and laid it in the bed, put a pillow of goat's hair for his bolster, and covered it with cloth. Verse 14. And when Saul sent messengers to take David, she said, he is sick. Verse 15. And Saul sent messengers again to see David, saying, bring him up to me in the bed that I may slay him. Verse 16. And when the messengers were to come in, behold, there was an image in that bed, with a pillow of goat's hair for his bolster. Verse 17. And Saul said unto Michal, why hast thou deceived me so, and sent away my enemy that he has escaped? And Michal answered Saul, he said unto me, let me go. Why should I kill thee? Verse 18. So David fled and escaped, and came to Samuel to Ramah, and told him all that Saul had done unto him. And he and Samuel went and dwelt in Naioth. Verse 19. And it was told Saul, saying, behold, David is in Naioth and Ramah.
All right, now we're going to be reading 1 Samuel 19, 20 through 24, and then 1 Samuel 1 through 2. We're going to read it in the English, Hebrew, and then in the English. 1 Samuel chapter 19, verse 20.
All right, cool. I have a question. So, like, Saul, Saul, the king of Israel. Why nobody ever, like, from all this sneaking and stuff he doing, why nobody pressed him with, like, what he's supposed to do by, like, scriptures, like the law?
That's a great question. I mean, I hate to say this, but a lot of times people don't have the courage to press a leader like that. Because I'll give you an example. I'll give you a precept. Remember when Saul told his servants to go kill those priests. Now people wasn't stepping up, but people wasn't speaking out against them either. They was just like, and then one of the guys came up. I don't think he was an Israelite, or maybe he was, but then he started slaying them. But ain't nobody stopped that dude. You know what I'm saying? From the king's order, nobody said, "Hey, yo, you killing priests?" Like nobody stepped up. So, a lot of people don't really have that courage. Especially like I said, you got to think at that time the weight that the king had. You know what I'm saying? Like you couldn't even. I mean, think of the time when we was in captivity. You couldn't even come before a king. Right. You know what I'm saying? You got killed. So like the king back then, he could just say a word and that was it. As you can see, he was ordering his men to go kill David. I mean, these are probably the same men that roll with David. Right. And nobody had the courage to say, "Hey, the only person that we've seen spoke of was Jonathan." You know what I'm saying? Because just saying like people didn't have that courage to step up and be like, "Hey, you in the wrong," or maybe because they fear for their life. And you gotta remember too, the king. Let me give you another precept. Remember when Israel asked for a king, and the Most High said, "Okay, when you got a king, he gonna take your sons, your daughters, and kings back then, you went against them, they kill your family too." Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So people at that time period, people knew what was up. Like you spoke against the king. The king would go kill you to send a message, like you speak against the king. So there was probably a lot of that going on, a lot of fear that people had. Because like I said, when Saul was killing them priests, ain't nobody's. I mean, no. At first, a lot of men they moved, they didn't follow order, but they didn't prevent it either. You know, when he was saying so, I mean, because they knew. That's a great question.
It says nobody stood against the king.
Nobody stood against the king. You know, and here's another thing. Like, remember when Israel and the kings of Israel going into idolatry, the people followed.
Right.
The people. I mean, you had a few that was righteous, but the people followed the king. The king was like, all right, we got these other guys. And everybody was like, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so that's a great question. But if you see Yahweh's disciples, they ain't follow like that. Remember, they was like, if it's better to worship the Most High or men, and they you know, so that's a great question. We're now in 1 Samuel chapter 19, 20 to 24 in the Hebrew. 1 Samuel chapter 19, verse 20. Where Shalach, Sha'awal, Mala'akyum, Laquakaf, Tawada, where Ra'ah, Lahakwaf, Hana Baya Ayam, Naba Ayam, Washam wa Allah, Imad, Natazar, Al Yaham, Wafahaya, Al Malachya, Sha'awal, Rakah, Alahayim, Waya Naba'awa, Gum, Hama, verse 21. Waya Gadwa, Sha'awal, Waya Shalak, Malachium, Akarium, Waya Naba'awa, Gum, Hama, Waya Sak, Sha'awal, Waya Shalak, Malachium, Shalashium, Waya Naba'awa, Gum, Hama, verse 22. Wayalak, Gum, Hawa'a, Hara Matha, Wayaba'a, Aid, Bawa, Bawar, Haga the Wall, Ashar, Bashakwa, Waya Sha'al, Wayamar, Ayapa, Shamwa Allah, Wada, Wayamar, Hanam, Bana Wayaf, Barama, verse 23. Wayalak, Sham, Al, Nawayaf, Barama, with a Haya, Alyawa, Gum, Hawa'a, Rakah, Alahayim, Wayalak, Wahala Wak, Waya Sana Ba'a, Ay, Ba'awa, Bana Wayaf, Barama, verse 24. Waya Shat, Gum, Hawa'a, Bagadyawa, Waya Sana Ba'a, Gum, Hawa'a, Bapanya, Shamwa Allah, Waya Paul, Iram, Call, Hayawam, Hawa'a, Wakal, Hala Yala, Al Khan, Waya Amarwa, Hagam, Shawal, Banabaya. 1 Samuel chapter 20, 1 through 2. 1 Samuel chapter 20, verse 1. Waya Barak, Tawada, Mana Wawaf, Barama, Waya Ba'a, Waya Amar, Lapanya, Waha Wanathan, Ma, Aishayahya, Maha, Iwanya, Wama, Hata Afya, Lapanya, Abayaka, Kaya, Maba Kwash, Af, Napashya, verse 2. Waya Amar, Lawa, or 1 Samuel 20, verse 2. 1 Samuel 20, verse 2. Waya Amar, Lawa, Kala Yala, La'a, Famawaf, Hana, Lawa, Aisha, Abaya, Dabar, Garawal, Awa, Dabar, Quatan, Wala'a, Yagala, Af, Azanya, Wama da Wa'ai, Yasatayar, Abaya, Mamanya, Af, Adabar, Hazah, Ayan, Za'af, and that's it. All right, we're going to be reading 1 Samuel 19, 20 through 24 in the English, and then 1 Samuel 1 through 2 in the English.
1 Samuel chapter 19, verse 20. And Saul sent messengers to take David. And when they saw the company of the prophets prophesying, and Samuel standing as appointed over them, the Spirit of God was upon the messengers of Saul, and they also prophesied.
So this is proof that the prophets weren't like loners. I mean, you know, a lot of people think the prophets were like loners, traveling alone, and you know, just some. These prophets these were actually schools. They actually dwelt in like schools and companies.
Right.
And Samuel, you notice, was the one over them, just like Elijah was the one leading the prophets of his day.
Right.
You know, so please don't think that the prophets were just some type of loners. Like you got these loner prophet people out here today and saying, you know, the Most High is now speaking. You know, these isolated prophets that you see, these prophets dwelt together in bands and like we're in schools together. And Samuel was over them. This is a precept to prove that.
Verse 21. And when it was told Saul, he sent other messengers, and they prophesied likewise. And Saul sent messengers again the third time, and they prophesied also. Verse 22. Then went he also to Ramah, and came to a great well that is in Secure. And he asked and said, Where are Samuel and David? And one said, Behold, they be at Naioth in Ramah. Verse 23. And he went.
We're 1 Samuel 19 and 23. Rex, I think we're about to be at 24, sir.
We're in 23 now.
Okay, come.
Verse 23. And he went thither to Naioth in Ramah, and the Spirit of God was upon him also. And he went on and prophesied until he came to Naioth in Ramah. Verse 24. And he stripped off his clothes also, and prophesied naked all that day and all that night. Wherefore they say, Is Saul also among the prophets? Verse Samuel, verse 1. And said before Jonathan, What have I done? What is mine iniquity? And what is my sin before thy father, that he seeketh my life? Verse 2. And he said unto him, God forbid, thou shalt not die. Behold, my father will do nothing, either great or small, but that he will shoot it me. And why should my father hide this thing from me? It is not so. That's it.
All right, so we see here, so we ended off here seeing that, you know, David and Jonathan are once again, and, you know, pretty much David is saying, you know, I haven't done anything. I haven't sinned against your father, you know, or anything like that. And we see that the brotherhood that Jonathan has towards David. All right? Come.
When the prophets prophesied to Samuel, right?
Go ahead, I'm listening.
They were telling him how that he wasn't under the Spirit of the Most High no more.
Like, the prophets were prophesying. What you said? We'll go to the scripture.
You talking about like 19, 20.
19 and 20. And with Saul, go ahead and read it.
So, all right. 1 Samuel chapter 19, verse 20. And Saul sent messengers to take David. And when they saw the company of the prophets prophesying, and Samuel standing as appointed over them, the Spirit of God, the Spirit of the Most High was upon the messengers of Saul, and they also prophesied. So what was they prophesying?
So the way I look at it, and it's like a sir, y'all can cut in and correct me if I'm wrong. But I always look at, especially in the New Testament, I always look at this in the form of camp. You know how when we're at camp, you've been to camp a number of times. I think you've come to camp for like 6-7 months now. You see how people will come against the camp, right? They'll come against the men of the Lord and have all these sayings and messages and saying what they're going to say. But after a while, once they hear the truth, they saying what we say. You know what I'm saying? So this is how I look at this scripture. It's like coming to camp. There has been many times I've seen men come against the men of the Lord, the Most High, and come with the nonsense and come with the I know all this. And once we speak to them, they know they can't stand against. They're saying the same thing we say. You know what I'm saying? Because the Spirit of the Most High is one, and you ain't gonna come against the Spirit of the Most High when the men of the Lord are speaking.
Right.
I've seen it many times. I've been going to camp now for 5 years. I have not seen anybody come against the men of the Lord with all their nonsense and prevail. Either two things is going to happen usually. Either they flee, they get out of there, or they start, crying and, oh, you guys are so right. I'm with you. When can I come to class? It's the same thing that was happening back then. These messengers came and probably came with the nonsense and tried to come against the prophets of the Lord when they talked and lost and started speaking what they were speaking. They couldn't prevail against them. Slacky. So did you want anybody else want to lie? Oh, we was all reading when the come. All right. With that, I just the men up here. I'm mighty.
Get it.
Slide. You want to use the same color? Okay. All right.
La
Yasha.
La Shala.
Go ahead, sir. The horn. The horn, sir. The horn. Men of Israel, Imanium. It's the men of Israel, which means to stand. Remember, Captain Osh wants us to salute the Torah with militancy. Men of Israel, gird up thy loins and prepare to salute the Torah. Yahweh Bashim Yashabrakah. Yahweh Bashim Yashabrakah.
How about Shem Yahweh? Yeah.
Right. Slide this up. The horn, please. Sir. Do you want us to go through all the prayers or just one? Okay. Slide this, sir. Slide this, sir. Let's read by Mariam Wapanya Hakwadam. Mariam Wapanya Hakwadam.
Mariam Wapanya
Hakwadam.
Hakwadam.
Each rise and face the east.
Rise and face the east.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. We're going to read the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew, then in the English. The Lord's Prayer. Abanawa.
Abanawa.
Shabbat Shemayim.
Shabbat Shemayim.
Kodash.
Kodash.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Shemka.
Shemka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Malak Wafka.
Malak Wafka.
Laba'ah.
Laba'ah.
Ratazaika.
Ratazaika.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Ratazaika.
Ratazaika.
Kawa.
Kawa.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Shemayim.
Shemayim.
The thunder now.
The thunder now.
The calm.
The calm.
Call.
Call.
Yawam.
Yawam.
What's locked now?
What's locked now?
Kawak now.
Kawak now.
What's locked now?
What's locked now?
Kawak now.
Kawak now.
Wala'ah.
Wala'ah.
Let me ayin now.
Let me ayin now.
Let me say one.
Let me say one.
A ball.
A ball.
I'm a shine now.
I'm a shine now.
Mayan.
Mayan.
Ride.
Ride.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Lakah.
Lakah.
I'm a lakwa.
I'm a lakwa.
Allah.
Allah.
Wahafapa Ra.
Wahafapa.
I'm a lumber. Aman.
Aman. And in the English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
Hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy will be done.
Thy will be done
in earth.
In earth.
As it is in heaven.
As it is in heaven.
Give us this day.
Give us this day.
Our daily bread.
Our daily bread.
Forgive us our debt.
Forgive us our debt.
As we forgive our debtors.
As we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation.
Lead us not into temptation.
But deliver us from evil.
Deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom.
Thine is the kingdom.
And the power.
And the power.
And the glory.
And the glory.
Forever.
Forever.
So be it.
So be it. This is Hakak, the power. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Bahashim Yahushua.
Bahashim Yahushua.
Baba Kushah.
Baba Kushah.
The thunder now.
The thunder now.
Hakak.
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 Lakpa'ah.
Lakpa'ah.
Kamakala.
Kamakala.
Wakal Marawa.
Wakal.
Hakak.
Hakak.
Latahar.
Latahar.
Amatazarayim.
Amatazarayim.
Hakak.
Hakak.
Lahaknim.
Lahaknim.
Hamakim.
Hamakim.
Hakak.
Hakak.
Arukal Waz.
Arukal Waz.
Latama'ala.
Amatazarayim.
Lagarashad.
Lagarashad.
Bahashim Yahushua.
Bahashim Yahushua.
The Wad Aman.
The Wad Aman. And in the English, Lord, in the name of Yahweh. Yahweh. In the name of Yahushua.
Yahweh in the name of Yahushua.
Please give us the power.
Please give us the power.
Power to heal all manner of sickness.
Power to heal all manner of sickness.
And all manner of disease.
And all manner of disease.
The power to cleanse the leper.
Power to cleanse the leper.
Power to raise the dead.
Power to raise the dead.
Power against unclean spirits.
Power against unclean
Cast
spirits.
them out.
Cast them out.
In the name of Yahushua.
In the name of Yahushua.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
So be it.
So be it. This is blessed Israel. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Bahashim Yahushua.
Bahashim Yahushua.
Barak Lanau.
Barak Lanau.
Wayisha'ala.
Wayisha'ala.
Wahapayah.
Wahapayah.
Sapari.
Sapari.
Barak.
Barak.
Rapah.
Barak.
Magan.
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 Bahashim Yahushua.
Bahashim Yahushua.
Awad Aman.
Awad Aman. And in the English, Lord, in the name of Yahushua.
Yahweh in the name of
Yahweh in
Yahushua.
the name of Yahushua.
Yahweh in the name of Yahushua.
Bless us.
Bless us.
And Israel.
And Israel.
And the school.
And the school.
Bless.
Bless.
Heal.
Heal.
Shield.
Shield.
Protect.
Protect.
In the name of Yahushua.
In the name of Yahushua.
Thank you so be it.
Thank you, so be it. These are the blessings in Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Wa Yahweh Shai.
Wa Yahweh Shai.
Wa Mayaka Allah.
Wa Mayaka Allah.
Wa Allahayim.
Wa Allahayim.
Wa Tazab Ya'ah. Allah Wak Yahana.
Allah Wak Yahana.
Ha Allah Wakim.
Allah Wakim.
Ha Sarayim.
Ha Sarayim.
Ha Kwatazayanyim. Ha
Ha
Kayayoyim.
Kayayoyim.
Wa Ha Akwakim.
Yahweh.
Yahweh. Wa Shim Yahushua.
Hashem Yahushua.
Wa Aman.
Wa Aman. In English. Bless you, Yahushua.
Bless you, Yahweh.
Salakia. Bless you, Yahweh.
Bless you, Yahweh.
And Yahushua.
And Yahushua.
And Mike.
And Mike.
And the angel.
And the angel.
Commanding General Yohanan.
Commanding General Yohanan.
The general. Captain. Officer.
Officer.
Trooper. And the sister.
And the sister.
Yahweh in the name of Yahushua.
Yahweh in the name of Yahushua.
Thank you so be it.
Thank you so be it. Psalms 121. Aisha Ayanya, Ahahari, Mayan, Yaba'ah, Izari, Ma'ai, Yahweh, Aisha, Shamayam, Wa'aratiza, Ayatan, Lamawat, Ragalka, Ayanwam, Shamarka, Hana, La'ah, Yanwam, Willa'ah, Yayashan, Shawamar, Yasha'ala, Yahweh, Shamar, Yahweh, Tazalka, Ayah, Yumika, Yumamam, Hashamash, La'ah, Yakaka, Wayarak, Walayala, Yahweh, Yashamarka, Yakora, Yashamar, Adnapashka, Yahweh, Yashamar, Tazafka, Wawaka, Mayata, Wa'ai, Awalam.
In English. I will lift up my eyes to the hill.
I will lift up my eyes into the hill.
Whence cometh my help?
From whence cometh my
My
help?
help cometh from Yahweh.
My help cometh from Yahweh,
Which made heaven and earth.
which made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
You will not suffer thy foot to be
He that
moved.
keepeth thee,
He that keepeth thee
will not slumber.
will not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth Israel,
he that keepeth Israel,
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
so neither slumber nor sleep.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right
The
hand.
sun shall not smite thee by day,
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
nor the moon by night.
nor the moon by night.
Yahweh shall preserve thee
Yahweh shall preserve thee
from all evil.
from all evil.
He shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy soul.
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
and thy coming in,
and thy coming in
from this time forth
from this time forth
and forevermore.
even forevermore.
So be it.
So be it. This is Psalms 83, Elahayim. Al-Damayalaka, Al-Fakarash,
Al-Fakarash,
Ra'al Fashakwat,
Al-Fakarash,
Kayahana,
Yahana,
Awayab Yaka,
Awayabika,
Yahama Yawan,
Yahama Yawan,
Womashanayaka,
Womashanayaka,
Nashawa,
Nashawa,
Ra'ash,
Ra'ash,
Al-Aimaka,
Al-Aimaka,
Ya'ira Yamwa,
Yahayam,
Sawad,
Sawad,
where you throw your eye to the what?
your eyes to the wall.
Altazapa one Yaka,
Al-Wabika,
Amarwa,
Amarwa,
Kawa,
Kawa,
Winakaki,
Winakaki,
Magalia,
Magalia,
Willa
Willa,
Yasakar,
Yasakar,
Sham,
Sham,
Yasha'al,
Yasha'al,
Iwa,
Iwa,
Faya.
Faya,
Now what I does it what?
eyes to the wall.
La,
La,
Yakaba,
Yakaba,
or Yakab,
Al-Yakab,
Barya,
Barya,
Yakaraka,
Yakaraka,
Ahoya,
Ahoya,
Adawam,
Adawam,
woman. When Shemai Aliyam,
Shemai Aliyam,
when Abba,
Wama Abba,
when Hagariam,
Hagariam,
the ball,
Gabal,
when Amawan,
Amawan,
when Amalak,
Amalak,
Halashah,
Halashah,
and Yeshabiam,
and Yeshabiam,
because of war,
because of war,
Gam Ashawar,
God Ashur,
Nalawa,
Nalawa,
Imam,
Aman,
Ayawa,
Ayawa,
Zerawai,
Sarawai,
Labanya Lawa,
Ayawa,
Salah,
Salah,
Aishalaham,
Ashalaham,
Kamanyan,
Kamanyan,
Kasayasara'ah,
Katsiyasara,
Kayagyan,
Kayagyan,
Benakal,
Benakal,
Kawashman,
Kawashman,
Neshamadwa,
Neshamadwa,
Bayanda Ara,
Bayanda Ara,
Hayawa,
Hayawa,
Daman,
Daman,
La'adama,
La'adama,
Sayatanwa,
La'adama,
Nadayamwa,
Yamu,
Kaira,
Kaira,
Wakasa Abba,
Kaba,
Wasakabat,
Wazikaba,
Wakasa Zalmanai,
Wazikaba,
come to say Yakamwa,
Kama,
Ashar,
Ashar,
Marwa,
Marwa,
Leshah,
Yashar,
Lanawa,
Nawa,
Af,
Ah,
Awaf, Shayatanwa,
Shayatama,
Kagogla,
Gogla,
Kakwash,
Kwash,
Lapanya Rakam,
Panyaraka,
it's like Lapanya Rakam,
Lapanyaraka,
Kaash, Ira, Lahat,
Alaha,
Harian,
Harian,
Khan,
Khan,
the Radatma,
Radatma,
with the Iraka,
Iraka,
what was the Pasca,
Wazikaba,
Sabalaham,
Sabalaham,
Mala'ah,
Mala'ah,
Panyaham,
Panyaham,
Kwalawan,
Kwalawan,
Wayabakwashwa,
Wayabakwashwa,
Shimka,
Shimka,
Yahawa,
Yahawa,
Yabashwa,
Bashwa,
Wayabahowa,
Wayabahowa,
Ayai,
Ayai,
Wayakaparwa,
Kahara,
Wayabadwa,
Wayabadwa,
Wayadaiwa,
Wayai,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Asa,
Asa,
Shakam,
Shakam,
Shamka,
Shimka,
Yahawa,
Yahawa,
Labadka,
Labadka,
Ayawan,
Ayawan,
Alkal,
Alkal,
Barakaza,
Barakaza,
Aman.
Aman. And in the English, keep not thy silence, O Yahweh.
Keep not thy silence, O Yahweh.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
And be not still, O Yahweh.
Be not still, O Yahweh.
Below thy enemies.
Below thy enemies.
Make a tumult.
Make a tumult.
And they that hate thee,
And they that hate thee
have lifted up their head.
have lifted up their head.
They have taken crafty counsel.
They have taken crafty counsel
against thy people.
against thy people.
And consulted against thy hidden ones.
And consulted against thy hidden
They
ones.
have said,
They have said,
come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
That the name of Israel,
That the name of Israel
may be no more in remembrance.
may be no more remembered.
For they have consulted together.
For they have consulted together
With one consent.
with one consent.
They are confederate against thee.
They are confederate against thee.
The tabernacles of Edom.
The tabernacles of Edom.
And the Israelites.
And the Israelites.
Moab.
Of Moab.
And the Hagarim.
And Hagarim.
Gabal.
Gabal.
And Ammon.
And Ammon.
And Amalek.
And Amalek.
The Philistines.
The Philistines.
With the inhabitants of Tyre.
With the inhabitants of Tyre.
Ashur is also joined with them.
Asher is also joined with them.
They have opened the children of Lot.
They have opened the children of Lot.
Salah.
Salah.
Do unto them as unto the Midianites.
Do unto them as unto the Midianites.
As to Sisir.
As to Sisera.
As to Jabin.
As to Jabin.
At the brook of
At the
Kison.
brook of Kison.
Which perished at Endor.
Which perished at to endure.
They became as dung for the earth.
They became as dung for the earth.
Make their nobles like a red.
Make the nobles like a red.
And like Zeb.
Like Zeb.
Yea. All their princes.
All their princes.
As Sabbath.
As Sabbath.
And as Amunah.
As Amunah.
Who said,
let
us take to ourselves
the
houses of Yahweh in possession.
The houses of Yahweh in possession.
Oh my power.
Oh my power.
Make them like a wheel.
Make them like a wheel.
As the stubble before the wind.
As the stubble before the wind.
As the fire burneth the wood.
And as the fire burneth the wood.
As the flame setteth the mountains on fire.
And as the flame setteth the mountains
on fire. Persecute them.
So persecute
with thy tempest.
With thy tempest.
And make them afraid of thy storm.
Make them afraid of thy storm.
Fill their faces with shame.
Fill their faces with shame.
That they may seek thy name, O Yahweh.
And seek thy name, O Yahweh.
Let them be confounded.
Let them be confounded.
And troubled forever.
Troubled forever.
Yea. Let them be put to shame.
Let them be put to shame.
And perish.
And perish.
That the men may know.
The men may know.
That thou,
whose
name alone is Yahweh.
Whose name alone is
Yahweh. Art the most high over all the earth.
Art the most high over all the earth.
So be it.
So be it. These are the curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh.
Blessed are you, Yahweh.
King of heaven and earth.
King of heaven and earth.
And all things living.
And all things living.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh Shah.
In the name of Yahweh Shah.
Listen to us now.
Listen to us now.
Right now.
Right now.
Send evils and curses.
Send evils and curses.
And punishment and destruction.
And punishment and destruction.
To the heathen.
To the heathen.
That speak against us.
Speak against us.
By prophet.
Like prophet.
The teacher.
The teacher.
The prince.
The prince.
The priest.
The priest.
The Israelite brother.
The Israelite brother.
And the school.
And the school.
Send evils and curses.
Send evils and curses.
And punishment and destruction.
And punishment and destruction.
To the heathen.
To the heathen.
And shake loose the treasure.
And shake loose the treasure.
Of the rich of Israel.
Of the rich of Israel.
That refuse to give to the school.
That refuse to give to the school.
Force their riches.
Force their riches.
To enter to thy sanctuary.
Enter to thy sanctuary.
Send evils and curses.
Send evils and curses.
And punishment and destruction.
And punishment and destruction.
To the Edomite.
To the Edomite.
And the nation.
And the nation.
And the drug dealer.
And the drug
The
dealer.
court system.
The court system.
The prison system.
Prison system.
Planned Parenthood.
Planned Parenthood.
All the governments are our enemies.
All the governments of our enemies.
And like synagogues and armies.
Elegance.
Roman Catholic Church.
Roman Catholic Church.
Pope. Islam.
Islam.
Christianity.
Christianity.
Egyptology.
Egyptology.
Militia.
Militia.
Ku Klux Klan.
Ku Klux Klan.
Aryan Nation.
Aryan Nation.
Skinhead.
Skinhead.
Posse Comitatus.
Posse Comitatus.
The gay movement.
The gay movement.
The gay movement.
The gay movement.
The lesbian movement.
The lesbian movement.
The lesbian movement.
Lesbian movement.
Spies.
Spies.
Workers of witchcraft.
Workers of witchcraft.
NASA space program.
NASA space program.
Army. Navy. Air Force.
Air Force.
Marine. Wall Street.
Wall Street.
Open up the internet.
Open up the internet.
And the airways.
And the airways.
The cable access channel.
Cable access channel.
And the radio channel.
And the radio channel.
Convict the spirit.
Convict the spirit.
Of any of thy people.
Of any of thy people.
That seek to stop.
That seek to stop.
And bring swift destruction.
And bring swift destruction.
For all the heathen.
For all the heathen.
That stand in the way.
That stand in the way.
Or try to stop.
Or try to stop.
From broadcasting your word.
From broadcasting your word.
Throughout the planet Earth.
Throughout the planet Earth.
Let loose all the plagues.
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 Cause them to go to and fro.
Cause them to go to and fro.
Through the earth.
Through the earth.
And consume them.
And consume them.
Let the plague.
Let the plague.
Take the house of the thief.
Shake the houses of thieves.
And the murder.
And the murder.
Let Yahweh Shah.
Let Yahweh Shah.
Michael and Gabriel.
Michael and Gabriel.
Come down with the flying saucer.
Come down with the flying saucer.
And punish all the heathen.
And punish all the
that
heathen.
come up against us.
They come up against us.
As we speak thy word.
As we speak thy word.
Cause to be known.
Cause to be known.
By all.
By all.
That is the angel.
That is the angel.
That have done it.
That have done it.
Cause to be spread.
Cause to be spread.
Through the media.
Through the media.
Throughout the whole world.
Throughout the whole world.
Cause to shake at thy coming.
Cause to shake at thy coming.
In the name of Yahweh Shah.
In the name of Yahweh Shah.
Thank you always.
Thank you always.
So be it.
So be it.
Sar, which means to turn. Sisters Yeshavium, which means to return. Return. It means return or have a seat. Same thing. Come. It means have a seat. Come, sir. I'm gonna put it on for you, sir. Hold, sir. This concludes the service.
We're going to give one courtesy salute to men of Israel, a Majin. We're going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher, a Majin. A Majin Shabbat, a Majin. Barak, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shabbat.
Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shabbat.
Sar, Yadi Matah, Sar, turn to the sisters. Men of Israel, we're going to give one courtesy to sisters. Men of Israel, a Majin Shabbat, a Majin. Barak, Yahweh Shema Al-Thum Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah. Yadi Matah, class dismissed.
Come on. Stop the. Is it stop the camera or what is it? Oh, I don't know if it's stop the cam. So I think you got to exit out. Exit full screen.